I ran from God and nearly lost everything. Not because I didn't believe in him, but because I did. I knew his voice, I knew his power, and that was exactly what terrified me. My name is Jonah. And this is the story of how I tried to escape the one who made the seas, only to be swallowed by them. It began on a quiet morning, the kind where the wind barely speaks and the sky feels endless. I remember standing alone, my thoughts heavy, when his voice came not as a whisper but as a command that shook my soul. Go to Nineveh. Nineveh. Even now, saying that name stirs something deep inside me. That city was not just distant, it was dangerous, wicked, known for cruelty, violence, and pride. The people there did not fear God, they mocked him, they oppressed others, they lived as though justice did not exist. And God wanted me to go there. To warn them. To give them a chance. No. I refused. Not out of fear alone, but because I knew God, I knew his mercy. I knew that if I went, if I spoke his words, there was a chance, no, a certainty that he would forgive them if they repented. And I didn't want that. I wanted justice, I wanted them to pay for what they had done, I wanted judgment, not mercy. So I made a decision that would change everything. I ran. I went down to the port, heart pounding, trying to outrun a voice that echoed inside me. I found a ship sailing in the opposite direction, to Tarshish, as far as I could go from Nineveh. I paid the fare, I stepped aboard. And with that, I thought I had escaped. But you cannot outrun God. At first, the journey was calm, the sea was gentle, the sailors relaxed. I even allowed myself to believe I had made the right choice. Maybe God would choose someone else, maybe I could live my life in peace. But then the storm came. It didn't arrive slowly, it exploded. The sky turned black, winds screamed like wild beasts, and the waves rose like mountains. The ship creaked and groaned as if it would tear apart at any moment. The sailors panicked. They cried out to their gods, throwing cargo overboard, trying anything to survive. And me. I went below deck and fell asleep. Yes, asleep. Not because I was at peace, but because I was exhausted from running, from resisting, from pretending I could escape what I knew was right. Then someone shook me violently. "What are you doing?" the captain shouted. "Get up, call on your God, maybe he will save us." I looked into his eyes and I knew. This storm wasn't random.
I worship the God who made
it
the
was
sea,
for me.
and I'm running from him.
The sailors cast
We all
lots to
are.
find out who was responsible for this disaster, and the lot fell on me. Of course it did. They surrounded me, fear and anger in their voices. "Who are you? What have you done? Why is this happening?" I swallowed hard. "I am a Hebrew," I said, "and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the land." Their faces changed. Terror. Real terror. "You're running from him?" they asked. I nodded. Silence fell over us, broken only by the roaring storm. "What should we do to you?" they demanded, "so the sea will calm down?" I looked out at the waves, at the chaos I had caused, and I knew the answer. "Throw me into the sea," I said quietly, "and it will become calm." They hesitated, they didn't want my blood on their hands. They tried to row back to shore, but the storm only grew worse. Finally, they cried out to my God. "Please, Lord, don't hold us accountable for this man's life." And then they threw me overboard. The moment my body hit the water, everything changed. The storm stopped. Just like that. But I didn't see it. Because I was sinking. The ocean closed over me like a grave, cold, dark, endless. I sank deeper and deeper, the weight of the water crushing me. My lungs burned, my strength faded. I knew this was the end. This is what running from God leads to. Death. I thought of everything I had done. My pride, my anger, my refusal to obey, my attempt to escape the very one who gave me life. And for the first time I prayed. Not as a prophet. Not as someone who speaks for God. But as a broken man crying out for mercy. Just when I thought I would breathe my last, something happened. Something impossible. Something terrifying. Something miraculous. A great fish swallowed me. I didn't die. Instead, I found myself alive inside darkness so complete it felt like the end of the world. The smell was overwhelming. The space was tight. The sounds were eerie echoes of water and movement around me. I was trapped. Alone. in the belly of a creature I could not understand. And there, in that place of darkness, I faced myself. For 3 days and 3 nights I stayed there. No sunlight. No escape. Just me and God. And in that silence, I finally understood something I had refused to see before. God's mercy isn't just for people I like. It's for everyone. Even people like Nineveh. Even people like me. I prayed with everything I had left. From the depths of the grave I call for help, and you listened. You brought my life up from the pit, O Lord my God. Salvation comes from you alone. And then, the fish moved. Violently. Suddenly. And before I could understand what was happening, I was thrown out. Back onto dry land. Alive. I lay there for a long time, gasping, shaking, overwhelmed. I had run from God, and yet He had saved me. I had disobeyed Him, and
40
yet He
days.
had given me another chance. Then His voice came again. The same command. The same calling. Go to Nineveh. This time I didn't run. The journey to Nineveh was long, every step felt heavy with purpose. My heart was still conflicted, but I had learned something in that darkness. You don't argue with mercy. You obey it. When I finally arrived, the city was even greater than I imagined. Massive walls, crowded streets, people everywhere living, trading, laughing, unaware of what was coming. I walked into that city with fear in my chest and a message on my lips. 40 days more and Nineveh will be overthrown. That was it. No long speech. No persuasion. Just truth. And something unexpected happened. They listened. The people of Nineveh, those wicked, violent, feared people, believed. They fasted, they mourned, they turned from their evil ways. Even the king stepped down from his throne, removed his royal robes, and sat in ashes. He issued a decree across the entire city. Let everyone turn from their wickedness. Who knows, maybe God will have compassion and turn away from His anger. And God did. He saw their repentance. He saw their brokenness. And He forgave them. You would think that would make me happy. But it didn't. I was angry. Furious. I knew it, I shouted. I knew you would do this, that's why I ran in the first place. You are compassionate and merciful, slow to anger, full of love, and you spare people from destruction. I couldn't accept it. In my mind, they didn't deserve it. Justice mattered to me more than mercy. So I left the city and waited. Maybe, just maybe, God would still destroy it. I sat under the burning sun, watching, hoping, but nothing happened. Instead, God caused a plant to grow over me, giving me shade. For the first time, I felt comfort. Then the next day, the plant died. The sun beat down on me hotter than ever. I felt miserable, angry again. Just let me die, I said, this is too much. Then God spoke. Do you have a right to be angry about the plant? Yes, I snapped, I'm angry enough to die. And then He said something I will never forget. You care about a plant you did not grow and which appeared and disappeared in a day. Should I not care about Nineveh, a great city with more than 100,000 people who cannot tell right from wrong? That question pierced me. Because the truth is, I cared more about my comfort than about people. More about my opinions than about God's heart. More about judgment than about grace. And that is where my story leaves you. Not with a perfect ending. Not with me as a hero. But with a question. If God shows mercy to those you think don't deserve it, how will you respond? Will you run? Or will you understand that the same mercy given to them is the mercy that saved you? Because I was not just the prophet who ran. I was the man who was saved in spite of myself. And if God can reach me in the depths of the sea, in the belly of a fish, in the darkness of my own rebellion, then no one is beyond His mercy. And that is the truth I could never escape.
If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because someone out there needs this message.